Welcome YouTube pedal people community who spend their time on YouTube looking at pedals and hopefully also buy some, because otherwise what's the freaking point? So, I talked to my friends at THOMANN and saw that they had some very, very cool stuff which I just had to bring to you and show you. Gotta say this, show you my interpretation. In this moment in time, with this guitar, with this amp, with these mics, in this setting that I have right here, every single one of you will get slightly different response from these slightly different drives. They will react differently with every amp, with every player, with every guitar. So this is an estimate, although a good one. Okay, we're looking at the Ego Drive today. THOMANN paired up with T-Rex and had 4 special pedals made for their, as you can see on the pedal right there, 60th anniversary. There were already some really cool guitars that they had made, and now they thought, let's make some special THOMANN 60th anniversary pedals for their, you would guess, 60th anniversary. Ha! So, we have 2 drives. The dual drive, the Ego Drive. We have a reverb, which is called the Ghost Tone, which is awesome. And then the playback delay, which is in the signal chain right here. So, some things about these pedals: very sturdy, of course. They are T-Rex quality. Those Danish people know what they're doing. They are a little bit bigger than the standard, normal pedal, but they offer quite a bit more. Very sturdy quality. They're using Torx screws at the bottom, but you don't have to open the pedal, because the battery, which always should be seen as kind of like, backup emergency solution, can go into this little flappy thing at the bottom that you already saw in the slideshow at the beginning. So make sure, if you want to use a battery, that your Velcro goes on top and bottom. Also, they have beautiful feet here. Can you see these? Really nice, high, sturdy rubber feet, which I always bitch about if they're not included. If you're building a pedal board, take them off, put the Velcro on, which is kind of sad because they're really good feet. With these pedals, the in and outs are not left and right. They're actually at the top and bottom. That means you could put all 4 pedals on a pedal board right next to each other and save a lot of space. space a lot of save or something I said in the other one. The 9-volt connector is in the middle, which means I wouldn't use an angled connector, I would use a straight one. Very interesting to say, all 4 pedals use less than 100 milliamps of power. Now for the drives that is normal, they use about 50. But for digital pedals, they usually use over 200, which means you have to use a special output on your power brick. Now, the reverb uses 85 and the playback actually, the delay actually a little bit less, which is way cool because that means you can use any output, which are usually 100 milliamps, to power any of these 4 pedals. Very thoughtful to keep the power consumption low. Anything else? No, let's go right into setup. PRS SC250, which drives the pedal hard. Remember that. If you have a Strat or a Telecaster or anything with lower output single coils, you won't get that high gain sound. It'll still scream, but of course not as much as with a Les Paul type guitar with that much output. That goes into a buffer to keep the signal nice and high end. And that is going into the Ego Boost, which is then going into the playback, both powered with the Harley Benton power plant. And that goes into the Sur Badger right there, Sur Badger 18, which is going into the Sur Badger 112 cab, which is loaded with a Warehouse Veteran 30 speaker on 8 ohm, and it is mic'd with 2 inexpensive microphones from T-Bone, the Thomann brand, the RM700, which is a €90 ribbon mic, and the MB75, which is an SM57 clone for $32, so way cool there. And a very inexpensive mic setup, and that's going into a little bit more expensive, a Universal Audio 710D preamp, and that's going into a Fireface 800 into Cubase 7.5. Okay, now you know the whole setup. Don't ask me under the video what's your setup. Pay attention. Happens all the time that people ask me, but what did you use to... Listen! It's right here! I'm communicating with you! Okay, back. That's my clean sound. Good, and let's look at the controls for a sec. They are a little bit different than a normal drive. On the left we got our gain and then blend. Blend will actually blend the clean signal, not all the way down to fully clean, but it will blend a cleaner version of the signal into your drive signal. All the way to the left you got more, let's say, guitar, more to the right you got more drive. It gets usually brighter and more defined when you go to the left. There's a lot of time you have to spend with this to dial in your favorite sound. It has a lot of possibilities. Then there's a standard tone knob and a mini knob in the middle for boost, which will affect the boost level when you're hitting the boost switch. Be advised, usually boost doesn't result in a lot more level. If you're playing in a live situation and you actually want to boost your level to solo levels, most boosts can't do that. They will drive the amp harder, they will drive the pedal itself harder. It'll result in a different sound, not necessarily in a volume boost. You probably have to put that in the FX section, in the loop of your amp to achieve that. And then we got a volume. So let's see what we can do. Beautiful for open chords, very tiny bit of drive. Rock and roll, you know, that kind of setting. So let's increase the drive and then play with the blend knob. if I should describe it in any way that is easily to understand, more to the left gets you more of a string sound and connected to the actual metal of the string like a single coil sound would, whereas on the right it's more round and removed from the string like a humbucker sound would be. Now, of course, many of you will take my head off for saying that, but I did it anyway. Let's keep the blend there and crank up the gain. So you can see even at high gain settings, nice transparent sound. Of course, the pièce de résistance, meaning the freaking awesomeness, comes when you solo with this, and then we're just gonna hit the boost a bit. No, actually, let's go into the tone. I'm sorry. Very usable, subtle tone controls to adjust for your guitar in your amp. Any more questions? Now let's put some delay on, and then we're just gonna hit this boost knob. Again, it would be nice if I knew how to play, but since I'm doing all these videos, I have no time to practice. So, I know that's an excuse, totally lame, I know, I'm sorry. Guys, seriously, and, you know, two girls that watch me, write me. 99 bucks for T-Rex Ego Boost and Drive that has a lot of possibilities and get you screaming lead sound like this? Why are we still talking? See ya.